Hello everyone. Welcome to Pine Consultants Private Limited. I am Sridharan talking to you. As part of my efforts to provide KYV or know your vendor details, today I am going to talk about my SAP experience in detail. After completing around 11 years in my domain in the finance and accounting field, I decided to switch to software in my career. I started my SAP career as a trainee after resigning my job as the finance manager of a large manufacturing company. I started my training on SAP version 40B in 1999. My first customer was a petro products manufacturing firm. I learned the basic features of finance, treasury, and controlling modules. After 6 months of training, I was promoted as a senior consultant in the same company. I was part of a team of consultants consisting of three in the FICO and treasury modules. When I say FICO, I am referring to finance and controlling. My responsibilities included configuration in the global settings like creation of company codes, defining fiscal year variant, defining posting period variant, field status variants, and assigning of the same to the company codes. I also configured currency settings, defined the posting keys, defined document types, document number ranges, tolerance groups, etc. Since it was an end to end implementation, I was actively involved in all phases of the implementation, namely project preparation, business blueprint, realization, final preparation, go live, and post go live support. After working for nearly 2 years in three projects, I joined Deloitte Consulting at Hyderabad in India. Work there was based on an on site offshore model. As a senior consultant, I was initially coordinating with the ABAP programmers to create various types of ABAP objects. My role was to prepare the related functional and technical specifications, test the ABAP objects, and then submit for final approval. Some of our customers were large international companies like BHP Billiton, Nestle, Heineken Beers, etc. At Deloitte Consulting, I was also entrusted with the job of conducting interviews of SAP consultants. After a couple of years in Deloitte Consulting, I joined IBM Business Consulting Services as a senior consultant. In addition to configuring the regular features of finance and controlling modules, I also independently configured the country version SIN settings for India. This is a specialist activity involving configuration for excise and import and export or customs rules. Also, for the first time, I totally configured the electronic bank statement settings for SWIFT, MT100, and multi-cash standards. It involved extensive interaction with external partners like banks and internal partners like ABAP programmers. In one of my end to end implementation projects, I also independently configured ECCS, Enterprise Controlling Consolidation module. This involved configuration of data monitor, consolidation monitor, and consolidation of financial statements of more than 4 different companies spread across different parts of the world. I also was again involved in conducting multiple interviews, and by now I had gained expertise in interviews and resourcing for SAP. I should admit that I started developing a passion for conducting interviews, and I really enjoyed interviewing uh, for various roles in the SAP arena. By now, I had gained enough experience to get promoted as a project manager. I managed multiple SAP projects involving implementation, functional and technical upgrades, use of SAP add ons, help desk support, etc. I was managing in excess of 100 SAP resources in multiple projects. I learnt multiple important lessons in my experience as follows. 1. You need to be very hands on even if you are a project manager if you want a successful implementation. 2. You need to personally interview the resources required for a project and not leave it to someone who does it as a sort of duty. It is really important for us to ensure that we interview our own resources if we are going to be successful as a project manager. I was very passionate about my team members and employed extensive rigorous interview processes before selecting a resource. Every single resource was handpicked by me. By the time I completed 15 years in SAP, I had interviewed more than 800 candidates covering several modules. Of course, because I was really strict in my selection processes, the number of candidates actually employed was far less than that. I also had in the process worked on all versions starting from 4OB to SAP ECC up to the latest release and S/4HANA. In my next video, I will talk in detail about my SAP B1 implementation experience and my program management experience. Thank you for now.